car guys had a lot to talk about. But here we are with the magnificent Rob Portman. He did some great racing down in Aldo Scribante this last weekend on his very own Ducati V4. Rob, how was it, right?
Awesome. Monocle series is growing from strength to strength. It was round 2 of the 2020 championship. I think we had close on 100 entries there. We had 26 in the bots class alone.
Proper,
so this recession that everyone talks about is not hitting the Monocle series or the bots. So it was awesome racing. Monocle, like I said, really is taking off. And, you know, it's for the entry-level newbie come race, but at the same time, it's got the seriousness to it. And we had Mark White, you know, former SA champion there. We had AJ Fenter, TT rider and superstar. And then you had the local guys mixed in there as well. So you've got both ends of the spectrum covered. You got the seriously fast races, and then you got the guys just wanting to come and ride in a safe, affordable environment. So, yeah, hats off. The racing in the Supersport 300 class was absolutely epic. Chris Wright, Nicole van Asvegen, and Clinton Fourie.
He's quick,
He's come on in leaps and bounds. He was a back runner last year, and he's like really put in the time and the effort, and just shows you what happens to all the youngsters out there. You put in the time, effort, the work rate, it pays off, because he was at the front end. They were bashing bars, and it was really good racing once again. In the bots, it was also brilliant stuff between my brother and Brian Bontequin.
Yeah, Bontequin is a machine, because I see he went well in the Masters as well. Again, I always say like cutting himself a bit thin, but obviously the guy's super fit, because he's doing Masters and he's doing bots, and I mean he took away a double win in the bots on the weekend. That's impressive.
I went to him and I said to him, what do you take before you race? Because you always have energy, and he said, no, I don't believe in any supplements or whatever. You just have to be really fit. And I kind of felt bad because I'd loaded myself on every kind of product available.
Yeah, me too.
To get a bit of energy going. So yeah, he's just supremely fit. Superbike race was good. Yeah, the street bikes, we had 20 street bikes entered.
There was a lot of names that I don't recognize there, so it looks like a lot of local guys came out to race as well, which is what it's about, because you're almost like mixing guys now. Joburg guys come down, and you've got the PE guys, and I think it almost brings the level up as well, because I mean the local guys can learn a lot. I mean the guys coming down can learn a lot from the locals, and vice versa in terms of racecraft and that sort of thing. But I mean also impressive fields with the superbike or the street bike class.
Yeah, it was. They had round 2 of their local championship as well, mixed with a Monocle, so a couple of locals, but they loved it. They loved having, you know, there was guys on their classics or their, you know, their older, slightly older generation race bikes parked next to Ducati V4Rs, and you know, Damien Purificardi and George Hadji, their team with their beautiful BMs, and Michael White with his R1, and Bert Jonker from World of Carbon with his new BMW S1000R.
That thing's beautiful.
It's so stunning. And I mean, Bert at 50 something years old, he did a 5 something.
That's impressive.
A 105 something. I mean, at 50 something years old. So just like I said, it's got that serious side to it, the Monocle series, but it also caters for the guy, and it was just a great atmosphere. Prize giving is always a jewel. Everyone's always happy. There was 1 or 2 little mumblings of stuff, and you just load your bike and go home. There's no room for nonsense there. So hats off, and a big thanks to everyone who came and raced there as well.
So also, like, because you're saying, like, you know, it's the vibe and that with the Monocle, and that's what it's all about. But there were quite a few guys that also crashed and went down on the Friday. I know AJ Fenter, he had a bit of a rough start to the weekend, but then managed to get a bike from someone, come out and run at the front of his class. So, I mean, I know for me to give someone my bike to race, whatever, is a huge gamble, but that just shows what the spirit of the racing is about in the series, which is quite lekker.
Yeah, the camaraderie is really good there. There were a couple of guys whose bikes broke. Damien Purificardi borrowed his spare bike to Travis Nordia, who came all the way from East London. Unfortunately crashed on his old school ZX10. He's looking, another really good rider that's looking for sponsorship. He's still got like a big sponsor
stick
on his bike, and he was really fast. So it's such a pity, like guys like that can't get sponsorships, but maybe there's a little tie in there with Damien and his team on that spare bike. So yeah, there was that. AJ, Lawrence Barnhorst gave him his bike to race, and yeah, I don't know, if I was Lawrence on the sidelines watching AJ do low 101s on my bike, I would cock myself. But we've got the Gentleman of the Day award, which went to Lawrence for letting him use that bike. And then, yeah, the camaraderie is there. Everyone has a fun. Everyone tries to throw alcohol down your throat at the end of the day, which is not my favourite part.
Yeah, I believe you had a bit of a rough one, eh?
I did.
Before you even got off the plane, it was looking a bit rough.
I did. Anyone who was on that flight from Joburg to PE with me, I do apologise. I know yours from Ducati had to apparently buy everyone in the first 5 rows in front and behind me supper and drinks to say sorry because I didn't act in a manner that I should have. But it was his own fault because he shoveled alcohol down my throat before
It's
we
like
even got on the plane.
living the rockstar dream, man.
Yeah, look, if you're a Ducati rider, it's what you got to do. You got to
Just suck it
full
up.
factory, and you just got to suck it up and live the bots lifestyle. So
Yeah, for sure.
that's what me and my brother did for the weekend. We took strain, but we came out strong.
And then you had your own bike finally for the weekend, eh? Because I mean, you were supposed to be off in Qatar and living the big life, following the MotoGP, which now looks like it's never going to happen. So yeah, obviously now you're changing plans, and you were down racing, but finally on your own bike. So how did that go?
Yeah, so what happened is we had a base V4 1100 at the start of the season. We then sold that bike on to Marius Kukumu, who rode it down at the Monocle PE race for the first time. He's also racing it in the Masters at Swartkops this weekend at the National.
I'm looking forward to see how he's going.
Yeah, and he loved it. He also had a tough start to the weekend on the Thursday, got tangled up with a slower rider and crashed the bike. But again, everyone came together, helped fix the bike, and he rode, and he just got faster and faster. He's going to be a real big threat to watch out for on that V4 1100. So yeah, we got ourselves a V4R now, so the 1000cc version of the V4 Panigale bike. We literally got rebuilt. It was a crashed bike, got rebuilt, loaded in the truck, went to J-Bay, then went down to PE. We literally started that bike for the first time on the Friday practice. But it just shows you what a sterling job Zocchi from Ducati South Africa did, because that thing ran like a dream from the moment we started that bike to the end. So we still got some setup and that to do. Still very much I mean, there's nothing standard about a V4R, but it's still very much a road bike. It's got the road springs. We've got a lot of setup to do on it. We ran the road pads. We were running Dunlop Q3, so the hard tire rear, Pro 4, sorry, I should say, on the rear. So once the new Pro 2 softer tire comes at the back, and we put some proper, Gulfa or EBC brake pads in the front there, we'll find that half a second we're off at to get on podium pace. But my brother did a brilliant job, despite being hungover badly. He didn't vomit on the bike, which was a good thing. But he managed to pick up 2 seconds and still hold his championship lead down. So a good weekend.
But it looks like that's gonna be a great spectacle to watch between Bonskoning and your brother, because they've already at Red Star they were going at it hard, and now again it's just been the reversal. So it's gonna be. I mean, Bonskoning out there, they crash at Red Star, so obviously he missed the second round. But I think they're gonna push each other hard all the way down to the final flag.
It's two different spectrums, with Brian, this very fit 50-year-old, and my brother, slightly overweight but riding fit. 32-year-old soon to be. So, but they've raised the level in the bots. We had Chris Williams as well, all the way from Cape Town, his first gen bots on a proper 1299 twin. And he was mixing it with both the guys in the second heat. He led the race for a bit, and he's literally just jumped onto that Ducati now. There's a guy from Cape Town that rode a Versus Kawasaki in the local championship there. So broken his pelvis apparently a couple of years ago, and there he was on pace, mixing it with these guys. So the whole Monocle has actually just stepped up. Everyone's got faster. If I look at Colin Hume in the street bike class, how he's come on in leaps and bounds. That's the nice thing about the Monocle. There's not the seriousness, but there is the seriousness, and you get to learn because you're surrounded by the Michael Whites, the AJ Fenters, even myself, and everyone's quite happy to just lend a helping hand. I get guys all the time coming to me, what tire pressure should I run here? My bike's doing this. And people ask Zocchi, people ask AJ, and just it's an open book. There's no no, I'm not telling you anything because I want to beat you. It's an open playing book. Everyone helps each other, and that Monocle's getting serious. If I look at the lap times AJ and Michael were running, I mean that's national pace, national race running pace. So I finally get to race, and I go race Monocles, thinking I don't have to race nationals, and all the national guys come out to play.
Timing is everything. But even the 600s, they were doing like 102s,
Ricardo Otto and Tarek van der Merwe, they were in the 2s. So, like I said, there's a seriousness there, and it's a good breeding ground. It's a good practice ground for the guys to go nationals. Later on in the year, we've got the Kyalami round, 1,500 Rand entry for Friday practice and Saturday race day.
I mean, even if you're looking at just doing track days, if you're a track day rider and stuff like that, I mean, what is it, $4.5 grand around there for a track day? So, I mean, for 2 days riding, I mean, you'd be silly not to enter into the Monocle race series.
And it's Kyalami. I mean,
exactly.
Track days have got a Kyalami track days coming up on the 6th of June, I think. So that's another one to look out for, because there's very limited time to get a motorbike around Kyalami. So if you get the chance, take it.
The schedule for them is crazy. And it's like, I mean, was funny last year, and I had a good laugh to myself when I did it, that I ran a road race around Kyalami before I actually rode my bike around there, because it just seems like Kyalami is used for everything else
except for actually riding a motorbike.
So yeah, like I mean, for 1.5 for that for Monocle, it's a steal. So yeah, I'd say to all the guys out there, if you're thinking about racing, if you haven't raced yet, if you're thinking, putting track kit on my bike, do I want to do it? for Kyalami and that, it's definitely worth it. It's a world-class circuit. You won't be missing out. For 2 days worth of riding, you definitely get your money's worth. So yeah, I'd say that's a good one. That's a big one to look forward to the year, because that's going to be
well. There's two.
Fields.
There's back-to-back. There's one beginning of July and then beginning of September.
Yeah,
so they're back-to-back. So two, like I said, you can't beat that price. So I think we're going to get every single oak that's ever owned a motorcycle in South Africa to enter. I think they are going to have to limit it to about 250, 280 entries. I think they're going to get close to 300 entries
easily
at that price. I mean, last year we raced on a Tuesday at Kyalami and it was 1.5 just for the race day. And we had over 200 entries, 207 entries.
It shows you how many people weren't at work.
So exactly. That's when the whole recession started, because we had all the doctors and vets and everything racing in the bots.
Yeah. So that's Monocle in a nutshell. Like I'm glad that you finally got your own bike, and I mean I know you had a bit of a rough moment going into the first race, but you recovered well. Top 10 finish.
Yeah, 4th overall again. So Red Star was 4th. I was 4th again in PE. So we tied for 3rd overall in the championship. So yeah, it's a branding exercise for Ducati. It's to showcase what an amazing brand Ducati is. I'm glad to see the likes of Honda are coming back in racing with their new blades coming. More news on that later on in the year, but I mean, kind of broke the ice today on Greg Maloney's Facebook page that Clint Seller and the King Price Extreme team are going to be running those new blades. I know they're going to have a private test on the 2 homologation bikes that are here, the SP and the base RR 3R version.
Mini Rs.
So I'm keen to see Honda back in national racing, and I think the more Monocle builds, the more there's going to be a little bit more support there. But at the moment, Ducati, Yossi's 26 bots all on Ducatis.
Yeah, it's impressive.
So the couple of KTMs that were there are now gone. He's put them on Ducatis.
Fizzled them out.
And he's brought I think 5 or 6 extra bikes onto that grid himself.
Yeah.
Including himself, the big boss man from Ducati, the owner of Ducati, not the guy at this Imperial Group sitting in the high chair. The owner, the guy that actually owns the brand, is racing his own brand, and that's tremendous, because the guys in the bots racing and on the Ducatis are looking across the pit and seeing the guy that they bought the bike from and buy the spares from right there. Yeah. So when something happens to their bikes and that, they go straight to him and he sorts it out there and then. Yeah. He rocks up with his big, massive Ducati race rig, puts bikes in there, offload them, and he's just involved, which is nice to see. So I think it's starting to spice things up. Yeah. I've already seen Kawasaki get more involved this year in nationals. Yeah, like I said, Honda coming back, Yamaha have always had a good presence in nationals. They really have, and they're doing it again this year with David McFadden. So yeah, the bike industry, despite everything behind the scenes that's going wrong with the economy and coronavirus and everything, seems to just be stabilizing, and everyone seems to be pulling together and getting the job done. Yeah,
look, I mean, there's a lot of negativity around the whole thing, and Corona has put a massive halt on a lot of things. I mean, like we experiencing the issue now trying to get helmets out of Italy, and it's a huge thing, because I mean, Italy is now basically on vacation. So yeah, it's very difficult, but nice to see Jos putting his money where his mouth is. That's awesome. And then Honda coming back. I believe there's going to be 2 Hondas at the Nationals standing there on display, so people can actually look at it already. So that's going to be quite a nice thing to have a look at, because I mean, we saw them go well in World Superbikes with Bautista, and that I mean, it's already a good package off the bat. So I'll be very curious to see with Sean Vermaak on the Honda. I mean, he's done well on the old spec Honda, and then Clinton Seller. I mean, how many times national champion, now climbing onto a package that's going to be competitive. It's going to be very good to see.
It's going to be very good. Talking about nationals, this weekend is round 2 at Swartkorps, Bridgestone SA SPK Series, Bridgestone Superbikes, and then of course Bridgestone Challenge.
And that aren't there this weekend.
Okay, so it's just Superbikes and Nationals.
And ZX10, hey?
And ZX10 Cup. Yes, so it's always good to see those guys at Swartkorps. Round 1 was epic. I mean, McFadden, Lance Isaacs, and Cello really put on a good show. The Shares was a little bit off the pace. Unfortunately, Shares not at this round this weekend. He's racing over in Daytona. But Byron Bester will be there on the HPC Radiomatic Kawasaki. So, that first round was hard because it was pretty much pre-season testing for everyone. Yeah. It was an early start to the year. Everyone just got their new bikes. Lance on that new S1000R M Sport literally just put the key on that bike, I think on the Wednesday practice that they got. And I've tested that bike. Lance Isaacs is going to be hard to beat on that new BM. But having said that, McFadden did it at the round 1 on the new 2020 R1. So there's a lot of key factors. Seller's got to make up points after his crash from the heat 1. So it's gonna be tense. I saw Greg Maloney speaking to a couple of the riders today on Facebook, and you can see it's tense times in that pit, because everyone. And I was so impressed with the Bridgestones. Bridgestone R11s. I really didn't think they would go first time out at Swartkops and get into the 101s. I thought 103s.
Yeah, I was expecting 3s, and I thought that's pretty much where it's going to be. Like normal race pace. Maybe someone will get into like a high 2, but 101s, and it was early days. Hey? They didn't waste any time getting to the 1 bracket.
Phenomenal. It just shows you what a good tyre that R11 is. And I was expecting a lot of guys to complain. There were 1 or 2 murmurs of guys complaining about full lean angle edge grip in the front and rear. But then you had guys like Sella, who I was really worried about because he loads that front end so badly. And he was saying, love the feel. And they last. I mean, those guys came off, those tyres look brand new. Yeah. You know, they could still go and practice today, Wednesday, at Swartkops on your race set. I mean, it's unheard of before in Nationals. You know, you were throwing money at tyres left, right and centre. So, you know, big well done to Ian Harwood and the guys from Bridgestone South Africa and TRP they worked really hard at getting Bridgestone in, and I'm glad they're getting the success they need now. And let's just hope National build. I heard a couple of guys saying that the likes of Kieran Sneymon, who was stupid fast on his 1000cc debut in the regional championship down in Cape Town.
And he's running old spec,
old spec ZX10 doing like 11.1s first time out. But that kid is supremely talented. Again, just another rider that needs support and sponsorship. Gareth Gaelic climbing onto Lance Isaac's second Superbets BMW machine, the bike that finished second in the championship last year, so another BMW on the grid there. He's going to make his Superbike debut. I think he's going to go really well. He's a big kid, was a little bit always too big for a 600. I think he's going to gel on that BM. I tested that both BMs of Lance's a couple of weeks ago, and Dean Ferreira from Lance's team just does a superb job. Anything BMW,
year after year,
he's just got those things sorted. So Lance Isaacs is going to be my tip going into this weekend, because that bike and the way it delivers the power and the way they've got it set up with that ECU, the race harness that they've got on that bike, it runs on 2 cylinders in the turn. So you literally, when I tested it, Lance and Dean said, just go into the corner and give it 100% throttle. I wanted to smack him and say, dude, it's a 1000cc, 230 horsepower motorbike. If you think I'm going into the corner and going full throttle, you must be stupid. After 2 laps, full throttle in the turn, runs on 2 cylinders, so it's got that gargle, and then it slowly just gives you the power that you need. So around Swartkops, you know, you're on the side for quite a long time. So first time out at Swartkops, he was there. Second time, I think he's going to be really hard to beat. But having said that, McFadden on the new Yamaha was so impressive.
I'll be honest, because I mean, he was, when we did the first interviews with him before that first round, he was probably the most reserved guy. Didn't have a lot to say, and then just let all his talking happen out on the track and that. But I mean, Keith Butts, I mean, he who's missing tonight because he's getting his beard permed. But
you've got to do that. You have to do that,
especially before a race weekend. But he tipped it, and I thought, okay, guy, whatever. But I mean, McFadden came out and proved everyone wrong. And I mean, Sella's always going to be one of the favourites going into the weekend. So really, you've got 3 guys plus some new up and comers into the mix. So I think national racing is going to be better than what we've seen in a long time.
Well, it really was. At round number 1, it proved. The only downfall to nationals at the moment, I think, is there's no like young up and coming blood. You know, it's still the Lance Isaacs, it's still the Sella, it's still the McFlash, still those names from 10 years ago. You know, I was racing with those guys. So there's guys like Monocle today who are just so talented, and you know, Michael White's missing.
Yeah,
you know?
I wish he could get back on, because I mean, it was good to see him down in at Scribante and going well. And I mean, again, great result for him. But we need to see him back in the nationals. He does.
You know, Monocle, it was a privilege and an honour to have him there. But he's a national rider. But I am happy to see that Blaze Baker is going to be making his debut. So
finally.
Let's see what he can do on his Kawasaki machine. Also supported by Kawasaki South Africa. So it's good to see that. Okay, there's going to be 2 green machines out there this weekend. But over the season, we're going to see the 3 bikes with Byron Bester, Sheridan, and of course Blaze Baker. So let's hope that he's that young name that we need just to ruffle the feathers of the old guard, you know?
Yeah, look, the only thing that, I mean, we're looking 1,000 at, the only thing is maybe the 600s going this weekend might be a little bit light. We're missing a few guys now going over for international duty. Dino's not there. So I don't know if Ricardo Otto, because he raced this last weekend.
Yeah, he raced at Monocle. Jared Schultz, he had a really good ride over in Spain. Unfortunately crashed, but he was in contention for podium over in Spain. So it just shows you what talent he has. Let's hope that he's back in time. I'm not too sure yet. So the 600s will be a little bit light, but you can still expect 10, 12 to 15 on the grid. And those are the finest. Marius Kukumu, that, you know, they've opened up the Masters class now. They've dropped the age to 30 years to be in the Masters class. You can come with your Panigale V4 1100 or your Aprilia 1100. So they've opened that rule up, which I think is really good, because that'll allow like guys like Brian Bontequinen to potentially come and ride his V4 1100. So make that Masters class. I'm thinking about maybe doing the PE or Kalami race in the Masters now that I'm 38 years old.
Sure. With
I'm surprised I made
with
it.
a walker, yeah. I'm sure the old age drum is looking for you somewhere as we speak. But speaking of 600s, we actually managed to catch up with Stephen Ordinal because he raced 2 weeks ago at Phillip Island.
World Supersport debut.
Yeah, World Supersport debut with the Tenkara team. And I don't know, like, I mean, it was a bit tricky because there was obviously a ruling on the tyres where they had to actually come in and pit after so much, but then you had to spend so much time in the box. And I think that hampered his weekend a little bit. But he went really, really well. I was really impressed. And I think it won't be long we'll see him on the podium.
Yeah, Stephen, look, we all know the talent that Stephen's got. To be honest, I thought he would have done a little bit better at Phillip Island. It seems to be a track that South Africans love. But it's still early days. He's going to be a contender. He's going to be on that podium. He's going to be on that top step for sure. If they go racing ever again this season, that's the next question. But yeah, it was great to catch up with Stephen, and let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, Hank, do you want to roll that video there with Stephen getting in touch with us? It's a little bit long. Just bear with us.
Okay, go. Hi guys, this is Stephen Ordinal, just in the gym training, back at it. Just a quick race report from Australia. It was a good race for us. Look, 7th position, not really where we wanted to finish, but we've been training hard and analysing where it went wrong, and definitely made a couple of mistakes in the pit stop, but looking forward to the next round. We're not too sure when that will be, but quite excited for what's to come in the future, and I really believe that I'll be on the podium for gas.
So yeah, that was Stephen Ordinal getting in touch with us. Big thanks, Steve, for getting in touch with us and letting us what's happening. Obviously, we're going to give you all our support and follow you for the whole season and be flying the flag, because obviously you're flying the flag for us. So yeah, it's been very, very good start to the season for him, but I hope if we ever go racing again that we're going to be having the South African national anthem being played for Stephen on the podium.
Yeah, it definitely will. Stephen, it's a new team, well, not a new team, Tenkara, and he couldn't be in a better team.
Yeah, for sure.
Tenkara have dominated World Supersport for years. So it's a new project for them, let's say, going from Honda to Yamaha. So when they get that thing dialed in and Stephen gets fully comfortable, that paddock's they're going to cry, because they're going to see a number 4 on the top there. Let's have a look here. Sean from Mark says hello. Gillian Ogle says helmets are looking awesome. Thank you. Yeah, those Suomis are beautiful. Sean Portman, not bad for an old man. Rob, yeah. How fast did you go? You know what? The first rule of racing is beat your teammate. The second rule is beat your brother.
Yeah.
So even though my brother finished second and brought home this nice shiny trophy and he put it in his bag and everyone was so happy, I was faster than him by miles. So take that. Christopher Wilkin, Honda has the horsepower now. We saw it in World Superbike finally. VTEC in their bikes took them a long time. So yeah, I mean, Bautista had the top speed at World Superbikes. I've actually got the world launch test of the new Honda CBR 1000 in the March issue of Ride Fast in stores now. That was held at Qatar. So I spoke to all the journos when I was recently overseas in Spain now. Spoke to them and they said, listen, this new Honda, what they've done is they've kept what has been so good about a Fireblade over the past 10, 15 years. Handling, braking, getting the bike into the turners, holding a line. But they've added 217 horsepower to this,
which has been like long overdue, but it's finally here. And I think because, I mean, for years, like, Honda's always been like the underdog. Yeah. And guys that race Honda, they maybe not looking for horsepower, they're looking for, like you said, other elements, braking, turning in, all sorts of whatever. But now they're right up there with the top dogs, and it's good to see. But yeah, finally, I think Honda has something that they can back up their bark with. And I'm
look, I'm excited. Like I say, if you want to see those bikes in the flesh, not riding or anything, but they will be at Swartkops this weekend, you can see them. And then myself and Donovan Free from the Bike Show will be doing an exclusive SA Scoop. We are the only riders allowed to test those new blades.
Very nice.
On Tuesday at Red Star, that's a closed day, but the Wednesday, the 18th of March, is an open track day. So if you want to come see those bikes in action, it'll be myself, Ricky Morais, Shez Morais, Donovan Free, and a couple of other guys testing the 2 new blades against the 2 new BMWs, the Race Red base model and the M Sport, against the 2020 Yamaha R1, against the Ducati V4R, against an Aprilia RSV4RR in a world exclusive test. So we're going to 7 bikes to test at Red Star Raceway next week Wednesday. So come check it out.
Take a day's leave.
We got brand new Pirelli SE2 rubber fitted. They've come on board to sponsor us with tires. So if you want to see the new Hondas in action for the first time in South Africa, come watch them there, and then we'll have the full review in the April issue of Ride Fast. Let's just go through some other guys here. Jeff Latham, he took some beautiful pictures from PE. Jeff, thank you for your beautiful pictures. Was great racing in PE. Thanks for that. Sean from Mark, get off your phone, Rob. No, I will not.
my laptop's just died, but it's also older than me, so
his laptop's got
completely
corona.
gone. Yeah, it's the corona's kicked in.
Corona.
So I'm completely winging it right now. So Rob is my only connection to the outside world.
Christopher Wilkins says, I want to come see those bikes, leave my tickets at the gate. When is that? At Swartkops. At Swartkops, you'll have to buy a ticket. If you come to Red Star next week, Wednesday, you don't have to buy a ticket. You can just come see.
I know
Keith Buerte is watching.
Keith!
While he perms his
beard. Keith,
Yes.
how's it going,
Who
man?
says men can't multitask?
Exactly.
My wife tells me all the time, but here is a man that is perming his beard and watching at the same time. So there we go. Colin Moose is watching, our street bike champion from last year. He's our MMA fighter, by the way, in the Monocle series.
I actually interviewed that guy after he won the races there at Raceday. When he said to me, I'm actually a cage fighter, I was actually like, really, and took a step back.
He's our personal bodyguard at Monocle. If you have anything bad to say about Monocle, we'll not only put Colin on you, but our resident policeman, Mr. Johnny Cricker, as well. So do not mess with the Monocle series. You will get destroyed. That's it. I want to see it on test, Sean from Mark. Yes, Sean, you're going to get your new Honda. Just wacht net 'n bietjie.
Yeah, I think Sean, out of all the people that are watching, he needs to be the most patient. He knows it's coming into his garage at some stage. There's some of us that are only going to be able to watch it from the sideline. So be patient, Sean. It will arrive eventually.
Vic Rich is watching. So Vic Rich, one of our sponsors, coming on board sponsoring
I saw that.
our Ducati team. Thank you very much. And he was over in Zimbabwe for some big racing that the guy. He's always in Zimbabwe.
They race a lot over there, eh? And it looks like it's a draw because there's always like good support around the track and everything. And I mean, they always come home with trophies. So it looks like a good event to attend.
We've got some international flavour here as well. Michael, I can never remember this guy. He's Polish. Okay, so when I was in Spain now, I had this Polish Yeti. I call him Polish Yeti because he's 9'6". He's a basketball player in Poland, but he's now a journalist in Poland. Great guy. Now he's now watching. So Michael, I'm going to call you Michael because I know there's a or something on it because it's Polish, but I can't say that. So Michael, we got a bit of international flavour. Trevor Binder's just sent me a video. I don't know what this is all about. It might be something. I remember the Binders this weekend actually. Yes. Trevor Binder, Darren Binder and Brad Binder are doing the DJ run.
Yeah, so you told me about that.
So it starts on Friday in Heidelberg somewhere. I've got to find out where it is to go take pictures and videos to put all over. But yeah, how is that? They are surprised their dad and entered the DJ because, you know, Trevor loves doing the DJ.
Yeah, so what's classic bikes?
Yeah, so you take the most vintage motorcycle you can find. You know, anything past 2010 I don't ride. Like that's vintage.
We need electronics.
I need electronics. I need as much help as I can get. But these guys he has a MotoGP and a Moto3 rider climbing on these classic machines, riding from Joburg, I think, to Durban. At like the maximum you're going to get is like 75 k's or 80 k's an hour down a hill. I mean, and yeah, they're doing it. That is how much they love their father, first of all, and how much they love bikes that they're going to do that. So
that's quite
well impressed. So if you want to see the Binders,
if
you want to meet Brad and Darren and get them to take photos with you in that DJ run, it starts this Friday, I think at 9 a.m. in Heidelberg, and then it ends in Durban because remember Sunday Brad's at KTM Durban for another signing session to buy some nice Brad Binder BB33 merchandise, and Darren Binder will be there as well. So. Yes, it's a busy weekend.
Full weekend, dude. It's a full weekend.
It's a busy weekend, dude.
So, but yeah, look into the nationals.
AJ's watching.
Hey.
Alan John Fenter. There might not be a TT this year, AJ. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Corona.
The word is out there. The rumors are out there. But I mean, on a serious note now, do you think we're ever going to get going? Do you think guys' contracts will still be intact when the race season finally starts? Because, I mean, Texas is now cancelled.
Argentina's just been
Argentina's cancelled. Yeah.
Look, November is going to be a busy month. So if you want to book tickets for MotoGP, if this whole coronavirus thing goes, there's Valencia, Cota, America, and Argentina, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Back to back. So look, I've had some inside information given to me by very high up people saying that the first bit of MotoGP racing that we are likely to see is going to be August. That is how bad it is. Because the problem is people say, yeah, but there's not in Spain and that. Italy's been shut down. Yeah. You think 90% of the MotoGP paddock is Italian.
Yeah.
Ducati can't go anywhere. All the team mechanics and that can't go anywhere. So if you don't have those guys, you have no racing. So it's not just about the spectators and whatever. It's about logistically getting the teams in everywhere. Yeah. And now, you know, you want to drive your team truck out of Italy. You're going to get to the border. They're going to say, sorry for you. Yeah. We're going to hose you down for 14 days in...
Put you under UV lights.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to do all that. So... No. I stress. I know the Le Mans 24-hour endurance race has been postponed now. She sent that to me last night.
Yeah,
it's really
quite
not
surprising
looking
that
good.
he's actually doing
Daytona this
Daytona,
weekend.
yeah, because I mean,
They
the
cancelled
Coates is cancelled, yeah. That's
I don't
crazy.
know. I still asked him, "Are you flying?" And he is. He's got his funny mask on and his spray. So there we go. Trisha Moorman is watching. One of the 6 million Moormans. Hello, Uncle Rob. We'll be going to see Colin fight. Oh yeah, Colin's fighting on Saturday. Colin Hume. He's got a very big fight. So yeah, he supports bike racing. We need to support this guy. Go out there and moor him. Just moor him. Put him in a crossface chicken wing and make him tap.
Yeah, annihilate him. That's what we want to see. So, Nationals, don't miss it. It's Saturday, and then after that, let's go and watch Colin moor some other guy. And then we take a break on the Sunday and catch up, maybe do a couple of breakfast runs, whatever, because the following weekend we got short circuit racing in Vereniging as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the calendar for us, I mean, even though there's no international racing, we're still on it and having a go on the local spectrum. So come out, support the guys. The guys are putting it all out on the line, like you said, 20-odd bikes in the bots. The Nationals is going to be a nice full grid. ZX10 Cup, I've had a look at the entry list. There's over 20 guys yet again. And I'm keen to see now the Agliotti brothers have done a bit of testing on their bikes, so they could mix it up. Jordan and Keith, if you guys are watching, with the EBC brakes, man,
That's why they're so fast, because they got stopping power.
Yeah, and
they
also
can just drill it and trust their brakes.
Yeah, and also they've got stock, so don't worry about brake pads.
See, I did. I messaged him straight after PA and said, "Listen, having problems getting this Ducati stop.
So
can we get brake pads?"
Guys,
so,
come, EBC, come to the party. You're brake late. Come, guys. Rob needs a hand here. But yeah, Rob, I mean, anything else you want to throw in the mix that you're up to in the next couple of days?
No, like I said, if you're down in Durban, go meet the Binder boys for sure. No, just like you said, go support the racing,
yeah,
man. We really let's support. There's no racing anywhere else. We've got VIX in South Africa, so coronavirus doesn't scare us. So just support. Just go out there and support the guys. We need to get the likes of Lance Isaacs, Byron Bester, Blaze Baker, Clint Seller. They need to be on this pedestal. They really do. We need to put them up there because they are just the elite of the elite, and they are superstars, and we love them so much. And wish them all the best of luck and support.
Yeah, 100%. So there you go. Rob Portman endorses the message, supports our local riders. I'm going to get Rob out the studio because the old age home, I'm sure, is looking for you by now. But
they're phoning me. They just messaging me all the time saying, "Listen,
on Raceday TV,
your Apple sauce is waiting for you when you get back."
So yeah, coming up next, we've got the GFP boys from Go Fast Parts. They're going to come and talk about their business.
Amazing range of products.
And they do everything, eh? I believe now they're doing 1X leathers as well. So we've got them in the studio next. So I'm going to get them in while we get Rob out and into the old age home at Shady Pines on time. But guys, are you going to be at the Nationals this weekend?
I'm going to try. I really want to try, but just 2 kids, wife, magazine.
Yeah, full life, eh?
It's not easy. But thanks for having me, Cliff. You're doing a great job. Raceday TV, great job. This is exactly what the industry needs. And judging by the response over the past 6 episodes, it's just getting bigger and better. So keep that momentum going, please.
Yeah, thanks, Bud. We'll definitely will. But in next, we're going to get Rob out of here. And then we've got Alex van den Berg and Dylan Wright. They'll be in the studio next talking about rear sets, tyre warmers, and everything else under the sun. When you talk at the camera, not at the screen. Okay, I tend to do a lot. It's on already. All right, we're back, and I've got 2 handsome young chaps here with us from Go Fast Parts, eh?
That's it.
Yeah, the name says it all. So I actually saw on Facebook the other day, you guys said happy anniversary. It's 2 years you guys have been in Joburg. So where did it all start for you guys? Because you're originally from Cape Town.
Yeah, originally from Cape Town. We made the move up to Joburg about 2 years ago. Business sense, it was only the right thing to do. You know, the racing is up here, track day community is up here, everyone's up here. So for us to make the move was just, it was a no-brainer, you know. Yeah.
So now basically you guys you're importing all your products and stuff like that. So how does it work? Because I mean, obviously you guys are doing it, and we've got some beautiful rear sets here on the table, and some lever protectors and guards and that on the table. I mean, you guys do a huge range, but I've seen you guys are doing tire warmers now.
Sorry, I left my phone.
Rob, we miss you. We're doing tire warmers. Now you guys have taken over like distributing now 1X leathers. Is that right? So you guys are doing like everything under the sun. So like how does it start? Because obviously it's a huge task to undertake, trying to get stock in from all over. You guys are importing your own stuff?
Yeah. So basically 4 years ago, when I was still in Cape Town, my dad actually asked me to bring in parts for my own personal bike. Okay. And then that's when I was stuck. I had to phone this one for rear sets. I had to phone that one for tire warmers. I needed an account with these people to get tires. And it was just it was a nightmare. So I was on the internet. It was trial and error. I imported stuff for my own personal bike. And actually when it landed, before I even got to fit it, someone said, "Oh, don't you have this?" And I landed up selling it. Okay. And then I saw, we can start a business here. And something on the side, and then from then it's just it's blown up. And
because that's one of the things I like with you guys. And I mean, if you go onto their website or on their Facebook page, because I saw also on your Facebook page, I was doing a bit of research last night, because I've got a new bike potentially coming in the next couple of days, and then we'll be talking. But you guys, like, I mean, it's a whole range of product stuff like that. But what I like about you guys is that it's absolute one-stop shopping. Like, we can basically
that's the plan.
Yeah,
the concept,
But I mean, how easy is that now to orchestrate? Because I mean, where are you guys getting your stuff from? Because I mean, like I've said before on the show and stuff like that, my normal day-to-day or my daytime job and that, we import from China and France and stuff like that. So obviously, like people, and I've said this before, but like guys that say, Chinese stuff is not good or whatever, but you can send them a spec and you can go and audit their factory and say, this is what I want. And I mean, if you're going cheap and nasty, it's always going to be cheap and nasty. But
you get what you pay for.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially with racing at the end of the day.
Exactly that. And I mean, I've seen your stuff, and I mean, I've seen stuff fitted to like HP4s and all sorts, and it's quality. It doesn't look out of place or anything like it. So where do you get your stuff from? Do you guys send them a spec, or do they send you the spec and you know exactly what you're looking for?
So basically, our current suppliers have a base model. So in terms of the rear sets, they've got their own base models, which we imported, and since then, for the last 2 to 3 years, we've been improving. So everything with regards to the bolts,
the foot pegs, the bearings, lock nuts, double anodizing to make sure it lasts in the sun a little bit longer. So there really is a bit more to it than bringing in a set of rear sets.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, obviously, I mean, it's your branding all of everything, so you guys have to back it up. And I mean, warranties and stuff like that on these sort of things, do you carry warranties? How easy is it to rectify?
We don't have a whole written thing about it, but we're understandable. If the guy puts a brand new set on and something breaks, we're more than willing to go and replace it.
If it's obvious that it's a manufacturing fault, then...
Because I mean, these things happen.
To be honest, in 4 years, we actually haven't had a comeback on...
I mean, that's
not a single part, from tire warmers to... A guy actually phoned me today. He said he was actually our first customer for tire warmers, and he said now nothing's wrong with the tire warmers, but he thinks he just needs to replace it. Not one return on any part.
Yeah, we with us being involved in racing and stuff as well, we can actually test the parts.
Yes.
You know, we fit the parts. We see how, you know, what's wrong and what's right. And there's been 1 or 2 situations where, like the tank grips, for example, we were selling those things like cupcakes. You know, it's the easiest thing to sell. Yeah. But for every 10 that we sold, 4 would come back, and because they were blowing off down the highway or whatever the case may be. So from a GFP point of view, we're not happy to sell that product.
100%.
Because, you know, that one customer that gets that bad tank grip could be anyone.
Yeah.
You know, it could be the guy that can ruin your business at the end of the day. So for us, quality is so important, so important.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And I mean, if you're looking at things like rear sets and stuff like that, I mean, you don't want Ike's foot peg coming off in the middle of the race and that sort of thing. But the fact that you guys test it with the R&D and stuff like that, like, speaks volumes in that. In terms of racing and that, because like you said, you guys are both bike riders. Where are you guys racing this year?
Well, basically, we actually took a step back to focus on the business. When we moved from Cape Town to Joburg, we thought it's going to be cool. We're going to sell parts, race, be factory on our own. And obviously, reality kicks in.
Very quickly.
So our first priority now is GFP. And But we have just recently bought a little CBR 150.
I've seen that. I've seen you guys doing some riding around the go-kart tracks.
So he'll actually be riding Vereniging on the 21st.
Okay.
He's going to take on
So
that
that's
Clubman's class.
next weekend, eh?
Next weekend already.
Yeah,
next
it's
weekend
so-
it is. Yeah, 100%.
Dude, you look worried, eh? All of a sudden. Okay, so you're racing 150s now, eh?
Well, yeah, you know, we both came from main circuit racing and all of that, and everyone knows the prices involved with that. So for us to focus on the business and racing, and there's no one else helping us up here at the end of the day. It's myself and Alex, every dealership in the country, every phone call, absolutely everything goes through only the two of us. So for us to try and incorporate racing a full year, and it just wouldn't work out. So this year we realized that we need to have a bit more fun again.
Okay,
You know,
which is important.
standing on the sidelines and watching everyone
It's
race,
terrible,
and
man.
everyone knows how
It's a
horrible
heartbreaker,
that is.
yeah.
So at the same time, we'll be more involved from a business point of view. You know, GFP will be at the track even more than what we already have been. So yeah, doing 1 or 2 rounds, Alex on the Janses here and there, and
the Monocle.
Monocle series is also doing very well this year. So we'll slot in wherever we can. Yeah.
So yeah, a bit of few wildcard entries, eh?
100%.
Yeah. So what did you think of that? Because you competed and you went
Yeah.
well in that Zantes Cup. So
Yeah,
you enjoyed it. What did you
Got
think
a
of
bit
the
of
series?
a wake-up call from those top guys, though. Yeah.
But-
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that bike. I was surprised. I was blown away from lap 1. I got to test the bike the weekend before, and I was telling Dylan, I couldn't fault a thing on it.
Yeah, good.
Pity in the race, we half the guys did an oil change, and unfortunately mine didn't work too well.
Okay.
Half of the guys ended up looking for a little bit extra horsepower with the oil change, so it ended up biting us in the arse a little bit, but still good fun. Yeah.
So will you be racing Zantes again this year? Or will you be flying
Yeah,
the GFP
I
flag
actually
on
have
the Zantes bike?
I've sent that proposal out to quite a few people, so we'll see if we can get on the grid for SWAT Corps.
Okay.
I definitely want to do Cape Town as well.
Yeah, I think that'd be a jewel. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean that Zantes series, I mean it's
Slipstream City.
national spec, and I mean obviously Cape Town being your home track, and
Yeah.
that you'll have a bit of a home ground
Yeah, that'll be
advantage
cool.
there. Maybe give Cameron Aiken a bit of a run for his
I hope
money.
so.
But I mean that guy.
We'll have to do a few more oil changes. I think. Yeah.
Exactly. But I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping that you guys can race more this year, because I mean, like you said, I know like years back, and I mean that's how I picked you up, is that you used to be on your Suzuki and it was GFP and you was watching the whole thing, and I was like, well, this is a really cool project to watch and that. And then it went a little bit quiet, but like I said, like you said, that you guys came up to Joburg and are focusing on business. But I'm glad that you guys are back in the racing side and going to have a bit more fun,
thanks,
because I
thanks
mean
a lot.
it needs to happen, you
Yeah,
know.
we've watched too many laps now. We need to do some laps.
100%.
Also, you know, we have to give a high five to you guys.
Thanks,
You know, definitely for us it was 100% go when we watched the first show. You know, we're like, oh, we can get back into racing now. It opens the door for sponsorship again and everything like that. So what you guys are doing is just, it's a very big reason as to why so many people are taking their leathers out the cupboard this year.
And that's what we
Is
want.
you're actually getting something back from it now. You know,
Yeah.
we get coverage on this show and other social media platforms, and just only a year ago this didn't exist.
Yeah.
So it's a step in the right direction. Yeah. So it's a high five to you guys.
No,
as
thanks,
well,
man.
yeah.
I appreciate that. But yeah, like I mean, we're gonna keep trying, and it's trial and error. But like having guys like you on the show, where you know guys that are thinking about racing, or I've got a mate that's been tinkering with the idea for a long time. But you know, when you've got a standard bike and that, it seems like a daunting task. Like you said, trying to find bits and pieces. It's all under one roof. You guys can help guys go racing in a couple of days. It all arrives, and you're good to go.
Since the show and the whole social media blow up and stuff, I've been getting phone calls almost every day from guys who they don't know where to start in racing, they don't know who to approach.
Yeah.
So I've kind of said, cool, come on board with us, and I think
The
I'll get
interest in
a few
racing.
more guys into Monocle and the Bridgestone class.
And I find like, I mean, I've been racing now since 2012. That's when I decided to take up the task. But it was exactly that. I would have probably started racing earlier if I'd known how to get into it.
Exactly.
All sorts. But you need someone to guide you.
Myself and my dad rocked up at the track. One guy said you must run these sprockets, then it's this tire pressure, then it's that, and you land up just actually wasting a lot of time. So if you got the right people in the right direction, Can't go wrong.
With all of the racing classes we have this year as well, it just makes it that little bit more easier for people to get involved. So there's the class to get involved, there's the parts to get involved, and everything's just weighing up perfectly this year. Yeah.
Speaking of which as well, because I actually want to touch on this as well, you guys have also come into and that's quite I got quite excited when I saw it, but you guys have come into like a massive stockpile of Metzler tires.
Yeah.
How many of those are left? Yeah, because there can't be many left. The pricing was unbelievable.
Absolutely no.
So are you guys going to be getting more? Will you guys be selling Metzler during the course of the year, or was it just a once-off deal?
Also, basically, I think Metzler's getting rid of all their stock because obviously they had brought in a shipment for the nationals.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
unfortunately, the numbers weren't there, so they're making provision for their new stock.
Okay.
And then I actually heard it from someone else. Someone called me and said, "Oh, you're also doing the Metzlers at whatever price," and I was like, "Oh, that's a steal." So and we had already had contracts and stuff opened with. Accounts open with Metzler. Okay. So I gave the guy a call, he gave us prices, and we sent it out to all the guys at an affordable price.
Yeah, the pricing was actually very, very reasonable. So yeah, that was actually quite exciting. I got quite excited.
The plus for us also with the tires, you know, a lot of people think like, oh, we're trying to sell it for dirt cheap too. You know, at the end of the day, we don't have a massive warehouse we need to pay rent for. We don't have 4 drivers we need to pay salaries, you know. So it takes a lot of work, a lot of hours, but we're in that position to put lower markups on. We don't need to put 5,000% markup on stuff.
Yeah, just to turn.
Because at the end of the day, we're still a growing brand. You know, even though almost every bike has GFP parts on in the pits.
It does,
we're still a growing brand. So for us to get as many customers as we can for tires, rear sets, 1X leathers, whatever it may be, we're in there. We're in there like a bear.
Oh, perfect. So there you go, guys. If you guys are thinking about going racing, get in touch with these two handsome chaps. So where can they get in touch with you guys to follow up on product, as well as if they want to go racing and you want and need guidance, where can they get in touch with you?
Well, basically, they can go on our Facebook page at GFP Superbike Accessories. And yeah, you can just basically ask anyone in the pits for GFP. You can contact me personally on Alex van der Berg's Facebook.
Okay.
You can go on Dylan's Facebook.
100%.
Quite easily reachable.
We also try and keep a good presence at most of your major race days. So nationals, we travel to every nationals without a doubt. Nice. Monocle, we travel as much as we can. Bridgestone, Thunderbikes. So besides trying to get a hold of us, we try and actually be there.
Be there, yeah.
You know, and every race day that we travel out to Pekiso or wherever the case may be, you've got a guy running to the van saying he needs a foot peg.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Even though we're only giving him a foot peg, it's
the start of the relationship.
You know, he's going to get a new bike. He's going to, hopefully not, but crash his bike again.
Yeah, touch wood.
We want to be that name, GFP. You know,
yeah,
with absolutely, like you said, one-stop shop without a doubt. Yeah.
Well, look, you guys have done an outstanding job. Are you guys building your brand and that sort of thing, and keep going? Because I mean, as much as like you giving us kudos, you guys also making big moves in the industry, and we appreciate that. Are you guys going to be at the National this weekend?
Oh, absolutely.
And tip for the win?
Oh, it's going to be a tough one. To be honest, there's probably about 5 or 6 Oaks who's capable of winning this weekend.
Yeah,
you know, you've got McFadden. He's going to be hungry for another win.
Is Garrick in for this national?
I'm not sure.
I want to see if he can piece it together. I definitely want to see him with a good result.
That's also going to be
I reckon right.
To be able to pick one rider, I think it's whoever's going to be there at the end of the race is going to end up winning, and I foresee a proper dogfight. Especially with Garrick Flock and guys like that everyone wants to win on that grid.
Yeah,
you know? No one on that national grid is competing to finish 5th or 6th.
No.
I'm also quite interested to see how Gareth Gaelic goes on that new
100%. I mean,
that's also he's throwing a span in the works.
He was on a 600. Now he's on a 1,000. Rob was saying he's a big guy, so obviously the 600 was a bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, and I've seen him ride 1,000 before in Cape Town. Definitely suits him much better.
It will suit his riding style a lot better than the ZX6. Yeah. So no, it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a very good show. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, there we have it. The GFP boys in here. If you want to get in touch with them, check them out on Facebook. Get in touch with Alex. Get in touch with Dylan. Coming up next, we're going to have some short circuit heroes. We've got the SM1 and SM2 champions. We've got Brandon Goode. And we've got a little youngster in that's not even shaving it that's about to come and talk motard racing with us.
Literally.
But yeah, stay tuned while I get these handsome chaps out of here. When you come back, we'll have some super motard boys in the studio. So yeah, catch you guys now at Raceday.tv studio.
Thanks a lot, eh?
Sweet.
Cool. Cheers, guys.
And we're back. Best for last. We've got some short circuit champions here and some heroes. These guys know how to back it in on the track. Who have we got here? We've got Brandon Goode, and who are you, young man?
Taigh, Janse from Rensburg.
So, Brandon, I mean, you and I, we go way backwards. I mean, I remember when you were on a black and red 600 and you wanted to go nationals, and then all of a sudden you went nationals and you were there, but you were quick. You were really showing the pace, and then on an R1 for a stage, and then it just went a little bit quiet for a while, and now you're back. Super Motards last year was your first season, eh?
Yes, my first year was 2019.
Yeah, so that was
2018. Sorry,
2018. So this is yeah. So we're going into the third season now.
Yes.
And tell us, what do you think about Super Motards? And I mean that SM1 class is insane. But if I watch the first corner, it gives me goosebumps because it's just aggressive racing right through the field. So yeah, but tell us about your season last year.
Yeah, so like you said, the Super Motards, the reason it differentiates itself nicely is because there's great camaraderie between the riders.
Okay.
We're all friends. There's no sitting down in pits and not talking to each other.
Yeah.
Everyone helps each other. Everyone picks up each other's tools. We borrow. We help each other out. And on track, there aren't any friends as usual.
Yeah.
But turn one is always hairy.
Very.
It was very, very hectic in my first year in 2018. We had the likes of Greg Caldenas, Brent Herron, Jesse Boshoff, Aston Nesbitt. We had the guys there, and any one of us could have won the race. You know, I'm leaving out some guys, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it's extremely it's fun, but it can get rough. It does teach you a lot as well.
And you say in terms of teach you a lot, what is probably the biggest thing that you've taken since you've raced motards? Is it more the racecraft and making the pass, or is there other elements that come into it? Because I mean, superbike racing, and I mean, I climbed on a motard a few weeks back and it was horrendous for me, because it's a big adjustment and that sort of thing coming from a superbike. What did you think like you've learned the most now in your 2 seasons of racing super motards?
The most important thing that I think I've learned is aggression.
Okay.
So if I could go back to the way I'm riding now, back to riding superbikes, I would take back the aggression that I've learned.
Okay.
I'm more sort of scoping what the guys are doing around me and being more aggressive and not being scared to bump, braking a bit later, and all that stuff. Because when I used to race superbikes, I wasn't as aggressive as I am now with super motards.
Okay.
I was always scared and I was nervous. But now, going into a corner in the super motards, you know, we'll bump. It's a lot easier to bump because the bikes are a lot lighter.
Yeah, for sure.
But 100% the aggression, easily.
Okay, nice. And you, young man, so last year, first season racing, what's it, SM2 that you were racing?
Yeah.
Where did it start for you? Because I mean, you what, like 16 years old? You're a youngster.
I'm 15.
15 years old. So excuse me. Yeah. So where did it start for you? Like the journey from the beginning, did you learn to ride bikes at a young age? Was it your parents that got you into it? Because I mean, it's a money sport, so you've got to have money, your parents backing you the whole way, and also they've got to have the nerve on the side of the track as well to put up with, because motard is hairy, I mean, as you know. But where did you start? How old were you when your love for bikes started?
I started riding bikes when I was about 4 to 6 years old.
Okay.
And that was just really off-road, you know, for like just doing it for fun.
Okay.
And then I only took it seriously at the end of 2018.
Okay.
When I started riding super motards.
Okay.
Then 2019 started off really slow.
Yeah.
Like I was super slow.
Okay. What bike were you riding when you started last year? Or what bike are you riding now?
Husqvarna 2018 model.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Those things are proper, eh?
Very fast.
Okay, so you said you started off slow. So what was the change for you? Because I mean, you came through at the end. You scooped some awards at the awards ceremony at the beginning of this year, and then what was the change for you?
I don't know. I guess Brandon helped me a lot with my lines and being more aggressive, and I was like practicing a lot because I really wanted to do well.
Okay, so as I understand now, it's basically a team effort. You guys are riding in the same team, same sponsors. How did that come about?
So I started working for a company called Special Ops 99 Sector Security.
Okay.
And we sort of I've been in communications with them beforehand. They did take on they found the motard quite an attractive sort of idea.
Okay.
So I was helping Taigh and I was helping our other teammate Blaine Ward. And we sort of developed a team. The bikes came out the same way, and we started working together as a team, and we started training together and all the rest of it.
Okay.
And it's sort of developed into the Special Ops racing team. And now, I mean, all the hard work paid off. Us as a team brought away 2 2019 championships in 2 separate classes.
Well, that's the thing, because you were SM1 and you were SM2. Yeah. So now this season everything has changed.
100%.
Because now it's both SM1.
Yeah.
So how much information sharing is going on now, Brandon?
I've got to watch my back now. I've shared too many of my secrets.
Because I mean, he's still young and cocky and full of testosterone. So I'm sure like he wants to beat you more than anything.
Oh
so
no, I don't hear the end of it. I always hear I'm always going to check the back of his bike now, and I must read this back of his leathers, and I never hear the end of it.
So
but it wouldn't surprise me at the end of the year if he was overtaking me. That would be my goal. I would appreciate to see that. So I think he could do it.
Is it? And so,
and then I'm done.
is that retirement?
The second it happens, I'm gonna go play golf.
Cheaper sport, eh?
100%.
So tell me, Taigh, if you, because obviously now it's first season SM1, are you looking to? Because you said your background is off-road and that sort of thing. So if you come through now and you start to become competitive, and let's hope that you walk away with a title at some stage. From there, would you look to go racing national superbikes or anything like that, or what's the progression for you?
Yeah, like I'd like to go do Red Bull Rookies, definitely.
Okay.
Like that's a goal I want to go to.
Okay, so basically to follow in the footsteps, go the Moto, Red Bull Rookies Cup, Moto 3, Moto 2 type of route, whatever.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, would you be in there working with him and coaching him and maybe take him on as a mentor? Would that be something that you'd look at?
I don't think I can teach him anything more than I have already. For him to go over would be great. It's a great opportunity. He's still the right age to go over, and I couldn't teach him any more than I have. That's past my forte. I'm sure superbikes for me. I've only learned so much.
Okay.
He could do it, but I can't help him with that.
I don't believe it's like for a second. He's holding out on you. Yeah. Okay, so just in closing now, because it's quite late already, and I'm sure people are nodding off there at home. But Keith Botha, my man that's missing. Keith, I miss you. He's having his beard permed as we speak. He's also watching the show. So that's why I need you guys to step in here. I've heard rumor, but it was confirmed today that he's got an invitational ride in the SM2 class next weekend at Vereeniging Karting Circuit. Knowing Keith like I do, he probably has never turned a wheel around Vereeniging Karting Circuit. But I know that the change from motard or superbike to motard, and he's ridden Janse, so he's been riding all over the place. What 3 tips could you each give him now going into next weekend so that he can have a positive result and enjoy himself? If there's 3 things that you've learned, both of you, if you could chime in there, what would you tell him and help him with next weekend?
I think that definitely for qualifying, in my opinion, you must try go out first.
Okay.
Or either last.
Okay.
Because a lot of the time you can get stuck in the middle of the people, and then you like.
Yeah, so traffic is obviously an issue because it's a small circuit.
That's it.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. What else you got?
Don't be scared to
Okay.
bump.
Okay.
Yeah, like you must just go for it.
And third one, just go for it, eh?
Yeah,
Keith?
definitely.
So there we go. So we've got qualifying, make some space, don't be scared and just go for it. And then Brandon, on your side?
Taigh touched on quite well there. I would say rubbing is racing. Don't be scared to bump.
Okay.
Aggression for sure. Yeah, qualifying, 100% qualifying. Don't panic and don't trust the front. Like you can trust the Superbike's front because that front does its own thing, eh?
Really, eh?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so I mean, there we have it. And then, yeah, just in closing now, any last words for the season? What can we expect to see? Obviously, your aim is to beat him. You're going for another title and that?
Yeah, that's the plan.
And how are we feeling working towards that? Because there's a lot of talent on that grid.
100%. Look, there are guys coming that are getting fast. Myself, well, speaking personally, our last race we had, I was unfortunate enough to be taken out.
Happens.
It's racing. It's racing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. I can't complain about it. So that wasn't my best race day I've ever had. So I'm sitting third in the championship now.
Okay.
That's after one round. So I've got Aston Nisbet to fight off, and I'm sure you know Temba Kumalo as well.
Yeah, it's nice to see Temba back,
It's
because he was
very
also
nice.
out for a while,
It's
but
very good to see
him back. Yeah.
He's a very, very good quality rider. I've been racing with him in Superbikes for a while.
Yeah.
I highly recommend Temba as a good rider. He's
Yeah.
highly rated in my books.
He's a great ambassador for the sport all
100%,
around, yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, my goal would be to try and bring home another title. That would be nice. If time would allow the testing.
Yeah.
And yeah, try and get Taigh as close to me as possible.
So he is going to try and help you, so we'll wait and see. So yeah, so you guys are racing next weekend, Vereniging Karting Circuit. It's 3 heats each, hey, per race weekend. So it's a lot of riding, a lot of bar bashing and stuff like that. So if you guys are looking to come and watch some good racing, and it is action-packed, it's crazy because it's happening on a kart circuit, come check these guys at Vereniging Karting Circuit next weekend. It starts early, hey? What time does the racing start?
Racing usually starts at around 10 o'clock, 10:30, provided everything runs on time. And then
Yeah.
from then on, it's non-stop racing. The motards, the SM2s usually run about two classes in between SM1s.
That's
SM1s are usually the second last class, so we'll start racing at about 11:30, 12
There you go.
latest. Yeah.
So there you guys. So yeah, come on circuit. We've got a lot of racing on the go. We've got nationals this weekend with the SA Superbike class, Bridgestone Superbikes, ZX10 Cup, which is always a good crowd pleaser. And then next weekend, Vereniging Karting Circuit, you can catch these boys in action here. Obviously, the racing is fierce, as I've told you. And yeah, hopefully we see you guys. Keith will be back next week, Tuesday. Hope for the best. Hopefully that beard perm is not a weekly thing. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch you guys next week, Tuesday. We'll be live again at 7 in our normal time slot, and we won't be doing the late shift because, I mean, I'm sure this gentleman's got to get in bed soon. But big thanks to our sponsors, Raceday.tv here at the headquarters. We've got Catch-22, Dead Rabbit Racing, Vatswaye, Hell's Kitchen Marvel, Ink Monkey, Suomi Africa, and then Wing Promotions. If I've missed anyone, I apologize. My laptop died within the first 5 minutes of the show. I'll catch up with your comments at some point, whatever. But thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys trackside, and we'll see you next week, Tuesday at 7. Cheers.